Bam. Good morning. I don't see the thong song even as an option. I don't even see it as an option in this layout. I don't know what's going on. I'm taking up the whole window this morning. Something's different. Something's different. Here I am. Good morning. I was thinking I used to be freaked. Oh, let me see. Maybe I can tweak something over here. I used to freak out in the early days. Back in the day, what if my guest didn't show up? And now basically that's the show. Those are the show. Oh, here's the Josh and Sevan show. Okay, not that. Here's a Wadapalooza. Definitely not that. This is the oh shit. I forgot to do Rumble this morning. Okay. Error number 1 already in the books. Yeah, I used to freak out when shit would go sideways. Now it just seems like it's the norm for me. I haven't checked the comments yet to see if you guys can even hear me. Here, oh, here it is. Okay. Thong song. I need a peptide song. CA Peptides, California Peptide song to honor my sponsor and Paper Street Coffee and BirthFit. I bet you BirthFit never thought that they would be being talked about while the thong song plays in the background. Man, oh man, what are we going to do? What are we going to do to protect these kids? I don't know if protect is the right word. What are we going to do to raise these kids right? What is going on? I'm going to ask Greg a hard question as soon as he comes on today. If he does come on. I don't expect anyone to come on. I don't expect any guests to fulfill their obligations. They're always welcome to come on my show. The invite is out there. I really hope Sarah Sigmund's daughter makes it tomorrow. But if she doesn't, no hard feelings. It's not a big deal. It is not a big deal at all. I'm a very, very easy friend, confident. I can hold my own. Life's good. Uh-oh. Ooh, not again. Where are we? Jake Chapman, Sevi, I'll have to miss today's live. However, I'd like to know Greg's thoughts on Mal's situation. The thing is I would have to explain it to him. And how would I explain it? A young girl who was supposed to win the games pulled out at the last minute. Any thoughts on that? A Hiller's hypothesis, a younger athlete suffering psychologically. What does that mean to suffer psychologically? That means when the voices in your head get too loud, like you have thoughts that are too loud. Like you're just chilling, you take a bong rip, and then all of a sudden you have this thought in your head, is my iPhone watching me? Is my iPhone watching me? And you can't get away from that thought and it's too loud. That's mental illness? That's I'm not happy. I'm wasting my life. I'm wasting my life, and you can't get away from that thought. That's mental illness. That's the thoughts that are getting loud instead of like being something you're just watching and able to tap into or not tap into. They become so loud and you can't accept them for their loudness. Oh shit, the phone's not even hooked up. Hold on, Mars. Well, that's good. I'm glad he tested this out. Let's get this thing hooked up. Hold on, Mars. Your Roadcaster is now discoverable. Let's go over to Bluetooth settings. Man, what a great show. What a great mess. Let's click that. No, let's click that. Roadcaster connected. There he is.
Good morning. We are.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm fucking good. I feel good. You know, I'm excited. I'm back in my routine. I love being here in my studio. And we learned something last night. There's a guy who's been helping me out with my show. We were supposed to redesign the whole studio yesterday, but instead we worked on some technical stuff that's going to allow me to get better recordings for better video on for like social media posts and YouTube and whatnot. So we got that fixed.
Always refining.
Yeah.
You're like moving up the leaderboard every day.
Yeah, it feels like that. I'm pumped. I'm really pumped. I had 2 shots of espresso. I got my Paper Street coffee. My bun went in on the first try. How are you? Hello, Mars. Oh shit! I just wait. You got hello?
Yeah, there we are.
You got disconnected.
Hey, I wanted to get this in real quick before Greg called in.
That's what your mom said. No, sorry. That's what I said to your mom.
All right, that's good.
I do not let your mom peg me. I don't care if that was not a Freudian slip.
That's okay. My mom's not Danielle Brandon, so that's all right.
Oh,
Hey,
you think she pegs her, dude?
No, there's somebody who said that you would let Danielle peg you the other day. So deep callback. Hey, so I've been wanting Greg to just, if he knows anything about La Sierra PE.
Oh, that is a great question. Describe
La Sierra physical education program from the 60s, Coach Stan Laprati, Carmichael, California.
Tell me the guy's name again. Stan what?
Stan Laprati.
Laprati. I know Greg got
California. Go ahead.
I'm gonna Google it real quick just so I can talk a little more. Let me La Sierra High School. You don't want to know how I spelled Sierra. Sometimes I do the dumbest things.
2 hours.
Yeah,
right.
I put it. Don't tell anyone. I started the first time I wrote it. Sarah, Cera. I know how to spell Sierra. I just think weird sometimes. I just don't hear Sierra. I don't know what I hear.
It's an Armenian spelling that you have sometimes. It sometimes goofs it up.
La Sierra High School, Stan Laprati.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll find a lot on Stan Laprati if you Google Stan Laprati. The program's more famous than he is, but
yeah.
And I know I talked to one of the guys who did the documentary. I'm not sure if I don't remember his name, but they did a documentary about it. I don't know if he has any thoughts on it. I don't have any specific questions other than I just think it's fascinating and wondered, why that program got squashed so fast. I mean, I have my suspicions, but JFK was trying to push it like crazy across the U.S., but it would have been too much for a public school.
The insanely difficult standard of history's hardest PE class. That's one of the articles. I do know that there was I've heard Greg talk about a time when he would go to, and I'm sure he'll talk about it if and when he jumps on this morning, where he would go to parks, and that's where he would train. That's where he got cut his teeth. Is that the term?
Well, that's what
becoming a gymnast.
Calisthenics, gymnast stuff, and rigs.
He said there'd be steel rings just hanging in a park.
Right.
And the same way kids gathered at like some curb they're not supposed to be grinding on, kids would gather at these steel rings and take turns doing stupid, crazy shit.
Yeah. Any question just of the old school PE class, because like PE class in the early 1900s was sometimes pretty hardcore too. Like they had those wooden dowel things on the wall where kids would do like, I don't know, parallettes or whatever you'd call them. You
mean pegboard? Pegboard?
I don't know. You're really talking about a lot of pegs this morning, aren't you?
Pegboard. I was huge in the, oh shit. They even, this website I'm on even shows you what the standards are to get the different colored shorts. Are you on a
documentary or website or like on Lean Beret's website?
I'm on Get Action AOM.
Okay. You're art of manliness there.
But look at they have intermediate is 10 pull-ups, 32 push-ups, 12 bar dips, 60 sit-ups, standing broad jump of 6'9", and then blue advanced is 14 pull-ups, 48 push-ups. Wow, 48 push-ups. That's solid.
Well, it's like it goes all the way up to like gold. Like they're color coded, which is like the interesting thing.
I see blue is the highest here. It's called the Ultimate Athlete. But you're saying there's one above blue?
Martial arts. Yeah. I think gold is the highest, and I think it's kind of like martial arts where they start off at one color and then they work their way up, just like white belt to blue belt, purple belt, all that stuff. And it, I guess, really motivated the kids in that school, and it completely changed the way they interacted. There was like virtually no bullying, stuff like that, because kids had an outlet. So
hey, listen to some of these things for the blue. 34 pull-ups. That's solid. I've never been able to do 34 strict pull-ups. And that's my bread and butter. A bar dips 52. I don't think I've ever been able to do 52 bar dips. I used to be pretty good at those. Handstand push-ups 50. I wonder if that's unbroken. Oh yeah, first you had to earn. Oh no, the gold trunks were like the very first ones.
Oh, okay.
The median and ceiling substandards within the blue level are categorized as their own colors, purple and gold. To test for the navy blue trunks, first you had to earn your gold trunks. Listen to this. You had to do one-arm burpees. One-arm burpees. I don't think I've ever even seen those. Have you seen those?
I've not seen those.
You had to do
No.
26 and 30 seconds. Dude.
Have you seen the documentary yourself?
No.
No. Well, if you ever want to watch it sometime while you're on the elliptical, you go for it.
I saw what you did there. Pegboard, 5 trips. That's a lot. Handstand, hold 45 seconds. I'm assuming that's free. Man, lift and carry. You ready for this, Logan? Carry another dude or some chick 5 miles.
5 miles. That's like the top one.
That's if you want to get the blue. The mile run. You ready for this? 5:15. 5:15.
Oh, 5:15.
5 mile jog. You just had to finish. You had to swim a mile in the prone position. I'm assuming that means that's freestyle, right? Oh, no. That just means any of the strokes, right? Freestyle, breast, doggy paddle. 1 mile.
I feel kind of like advocating for stuff like this is kind of like advocating for a libertarian government. It all sounds really awesome and really nice, but it's like idealized as like the perfect system, and it's just going to be almost impossible to ever implement widespread.
Listen to this one, bro. You ready?
Yeah, roll.
Float with arms and ankles tied for 6 minutes.
Ooh. Be like Navy SEALs.
Dude. Stay afloat in deep water in vertical position. Use of arms and legs permitted within 8-foot circle for 2 hours. For 2 hours within an 8-foot circle.
I don't even know how you'd implement that in the school. I got to get off because I'm not using my loud headset today as courtesy to you. I got to hop into a tractor.
It's weird how there's callers like you that have to get off. Like, you should be honored. You should be like, oh my God.
I love being on.
How much longer can I be on?
I'm currently waiting here. If I open my door right now, it's going to sound like a hammer drill going off in the background.
Okay, open it. And then let me just get a little sample.
All right, sounds good. Here, let me just sabotage your sound quality.
Let me see. Let me hear.
We're going there.
Okay, let me hear what happens. Sevan's dog, please feed me. I fed the dog this morning. I did.
How's that?
Sounds fine. I can't hear anything.
Can't hear it?
No, but you started yelling, which means
okay.
It must be loud there.
All right. Okay, well, fine. There we go. Prove that theory wrong. No, dude, if you can ask Glassman that, I would be so very happy, because I just want to hear him talk about it. I don't even know if he knows anything about it.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah,
I'll definitely bring it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay, bye.
Hey, it was weird seeing you got your glasses. Make sure you keep your glasses.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right,
okay, bye. Weird seeing me without my glasses. Thanks. I think it's weird seeing me without my glasses too. That's kind of why I do it. That's why I take them off. I feel like it's like brave of me. Europa Chronicles 499. Please interview Daniela Hodges. Hillary made a video about her 4-year ban for not taking a random drug test, even though she isn't in the random testing pool. Here's the thing, dude. Here's a couple things I want to say about that. If that video is true, and what I mean by that, if the spirit of that video is true, then anyone to ever do the open moving forward would absolutely be insane. You absolutely cannot do the open if that video is true. Because basically this chick that video basically says that chick signed up for the open, which automatically put her in some drug testing pool that she wasn't aware that she was put in. And because she didn't respond to an email that she got about taking some drug tests, that now on the internet it says somewhere that she's a cheater, that she's a steroid user. Now, all of that being said, when I watch the video, something's wrong with that girl. That's not like something's wrong with her. She's as extreme as you could be. I would say she has some sort of eating disorder, or that she has taken steroids or something. Something that's not. She has some condition, but it's irrelevant. I do believe it. Any of those opinions of mine, or just from observation, are completely irrelevant. There is no way you want to sign up for the open and then CrossFit can just randomly make a post. Well, let's say they send you an email or call you saying you need to take a drug test and you don't respond. Then all of a sudden on the internet for the rest of your life, it says you're a cheater that does steroids. Fuck that. And even if it doesn't say that explicitly, that's everyone who reads what they wrote that's what they're going to see. Do not, if CrossFit never, Hillary needs to bring that up again the week before the Open. I'd love to see a follow-up video on that. Why would you do that to yourself? That is a fucking crazy video. Do you guys want to see? And by the way, Europa, thank you for the money and thank you for bringing that up. Europa. What else did you write on here? Honestly, it doesn't matter if she's clean or not. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. CFHQ didn't follow its own procedures in regard. Yeah, it does not matter if she's clean or not. That is not the fucking point. It's like saying someone was killed without a trial. Like you can't do that. Then that means it can happen to any of us, regardless of what their crime is. CFHQ then subsequently publicly defamed a non-public. Dude, it's crazy. If the video is true, you can never sign up for the Open again. Unless you're just an idiot, unless you just, the risk is not worth the reward. It's absolutely nuts. Unless you know you're going to the games. It's crazy. And I don't know if it's true. Hey, Greg, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Awesome. Pumped. Stoked to hear from you.
Yeah, I love this overcast.
Yeah, it's nice, right?
Yeah, tell her what it's overcast here in the cruise.
Oh, and 60, right? 65, 60 degrees, 60, 65. Hello? Greg? He's gone. Well, thank you for joining us, Greg. That was pleasant. Hey, good morning. Was that me or you? Uh-oh. We got a bad connection.
How's it sound now?
Better. Do you want to call me from the land? Are you on a landline?
No, I'll try it. I'll switch to it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah. She could sue for defamation. I don't know. I don't know what it says when you sign up for the Open. Maybe when we all sign up for the Open, it says, "Hey, you're going to be grabbing your ankles." I don't know. Seema Beaver, he's in town. He better walk his ass over. You know what? I don't think he's going to do that. He's like 11 miles from me, but I am going to try to. I am going to see if breakfast. Are we doing breakfast after this?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Matt and the Mike are on the road.
Oh, awesome. You mean like they left already to go home?
Yeah, they're gone. Matt's already heading down the 101, and Mike left just a few minutes ago.
Oh, crazy. All right, cool. I'm excited. I mean, I loved the start in the morning with breakfast with you. It's cool. It's the old days.
But
hey, someone called in before you called in and was asking if you knew about the La Sierra program, if you were had any ideas about it. But you were like 4 when that program was going, right? 4 years old.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Is that a fitness thing?
Yeah, that's the thing at La Sierra High School with that guy Stan Laprati.
Yes,
and they had the colored shorts that showed your ranking, like where you were.
Yep. My understanding, and we knew someone in the community who was an expert on that.
Uh-huh.
And he had his old theory, but apparently this was a JFK launched initiative, and it was kind of early Cold War. And Khrushchev, there's video footage, black and white, not video then, what was it, film, of Khrushchev being shown this program. And I guess it scared him. And it was done deliberately by John F. Kennedy. Like, looked like they were getting ready for war.
Yeah, the footage is crazy. I had never heard that before, what you just said. I had never heard that. That's what
I think we published a story on it in the CrossFit Journal.
Yeah.
And I think this might be maybe CrossFit content. They had a couple I have. But I guess I do know something about that.
And do you remember PE being significantly different when you were a kid in LA? I mean, how close did you?
Oh, you mean
grow
like
up to
they
this?
had it?
Right.
Like they had it?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, and there was a presidential fitness award, and you got the patch to put on your shorts and stars every year you qualified.
Yeah.
And I participated in that and had a patch and stars in middle school.
You did? You did do that stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
And were you excited to do it? Was there a lot of pressure, like with the other kids and whatnot?
You know, the run wasn't my cup of tea, but I tried to compensate in the other stuff, and that led me to like school records in middle school and high school and pull-ups. But you know, the standard was pretty clear, and the point system, as I recall, was straightforward, and I don't remember being nervous or uptight about it at all.
I was born in 72, so somewhere in the early 80s, I remember doing it, and I remember having to do some of the stuff the girls did because I couldn't do the stuff the boys did. Specifically, the boys did pull-ups, and the girls did, I think it was called flex arm hang, where you had your chin over the bar, and then they started, and you had to hold it up there for a certain amount of time. I sucked at that too at the time.
You know, the New York Fire Department, way back, this is like Kevin Johnson's dad's era, in his 90s. But you had to be able to hold your chin over a bar for 2 minutes. And that's quite a feat.
What's the activation on that? What is that?
Man, I'm thinking you're probably going to be using some neck and all the muscles of the pull-up. I don't know.
Yeah, that's intense.
But there's a neck flexor in there. I would imagine. I don't know how much of that you can withstand. You know, there's probably some facelift guru that's suggesting you hang from the pull-up bar and then take your hands off the bar. Don't anyone try that and attribute it to me. But if you try it, let me know how that feels.
They have this website I'm looking at right now. They have they show some of the things that you have to do to get the highest shorts, the navy blue shorts, and one of them is swim underwater 50 yards. But listen to this one. This is the very last thing.
50 yards underwater.
Yeah, that's good.
And this is for what age level?
I think high school. And listen to this.
Man.
One of them, it says you have to stay afloat. This is for the blue shorts. Stay afloat in deep water in a vertical position. So that's treading water, right? Use of arms and legs permitted, and you have to stay within an 8-foot circle for 2 hours. That's like the final test.
What is this, a SEAL thing?
I don't know. It says
it sounds Navy as all hell.
This is called the article is the insanely difficult standard of history's hardest PE program. And it's that La Sierra High School program.
Yeah, hey, that's interesting.
Another one, it's 34 pull-ups. I'm assuming those are like just with a gymnastics kit, right?
Yeah, I would hope.
52 bar dips. The mile run is 5:15. That's moving.
That is. That's a serious standard.
Free handstand hold of 45 seconds. So some good stuff.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, that's very interesting to me. We would in the workout of the day once in a while throw in water and some kind of water exercise. And man, you wouldn't believe the amount of emails I'd get. Like, where am I supposed to find a fucking swimming pool? You know, that kind of thing. Like hundreds of them.
And that wasn't a reason not to do it, though, right?
Well, I don't know. The argument I made is 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered in water. Some modicum of proficiency in that space might be of value to you at some point. Right. I mean, it was the same thing we raised in support of ISR, right? The Swim Resource Program.
What? How did
that feels? I'd heard that the emphasis was mil. That sounds very military to me. It sounds like they had a Navy captain who's a SEAL came up with that one.
Right. The floating and for 2 hours. In the vertical position. Hey, there's another one in here that says you have to float for 6 minutes with your arms and hands, ankles tied. Right.
Yeah, that swimming tied up stuff isn't that big a deal. It's easier than it seems.
You just get on your back.
You gotta control your breathing. You know, if you let out all your air and go to the bottom, you're fucked, right?
Right.
And so you gotta manipulate yourself so that you're largely full of air and can turn and let air out and suck it back in. So at least in my case, that was the deal. But we used to do this thing when I was a kid. My dad would hog tie me and throw me in the pool.
No shit.
And it took more than that to drown me. I would rather do that than tread water for 2 hours.
Oh my God.
Some of the water treading drills, like what is it? Like how much water someone will let you know. I forget. But there's some amount of water you have to hold overhead in a jug and drain it while staying above. And I'd have no chance at that.
Dude, your dad was savage.
Yeah, it was. You know, it was fun. It was. He was an old-fashioned dad.
What did he think about
But I was into it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It was cool. I had a German Shepherd that would open the gate, jump in the pool, and pull me out too. Now the deal was that you'd semi-cooperate, but she had you by the ankle or the wrist, and if you were dead, you'd be drug out. You'd have puncture marks. So she'd pull as hard as she needed to get your ass out of the pool, but she would not let me float. This had a flip latch on the gate, you know, the chain link gate common flip latch.
Yeah.
We had one, and she would learn to jump up and push it. She also opened the refrigerator and could open the big garage door. But we had to put 2 latches on. She eventually learned to hit one with her back foot, paw, and the other one with the nose. So even the 2 latch gate she could open.
Hey, was she a formerly trained dog?
No, she just
smart.
Became fucking smart. But I got her for what would that have been? It was my 6th or 7th birthday.
Oh, she was your dog.
Companion. Yeah. I slept in the yard with her, you know, often.
Hey, that's funny. That says a lot, right? Instead of the dog coming in and sleeping with you, which was what a lot of people would say, you went outside and slept with the dog.
Yeah, I laid in the dirt with her, and I had a wart on my hand, and she looked at it and cocked her head and bit it off, nibbled it right off.
Holy shit!
And the pediatrician had frozen it a couple times to no avail. It wasn't a big deal. It was a little wart, but the dog saw it and removed it.
And it never came back.
The dog was cool. There's a neighbor kid that was in high school when I was in 7th grade. He was a big kid. I was a little kid. Had mounted me and was slapping me around, and my mom opened the door to resolve the thing, and the dog got past her and chewed this guy pretty good. I mean, the dog was in quarantine, so I was sitting in the yard for 10 days with the dog with a note on the gate. But that worked. That made quite an impact on the other kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah, your dog bit them. Yeah,
you fuck with that one kid, and his dog's gonna get you.
Yeah. Hey, Greg.
That was just instinct, you know. No one taught her shit.
You can't see the screen, can you?
Yeah.
Oh,
which screen?
Oh, the screen.
Yours or mine?
The screen that the show's on. You can't see the live stream, the comments.
Yeah, I'll go there. Send me.
Are you in front of a computer?
I am.
Let me see if I can send you a link. Hold on here. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna text this. Can I text it to you?
Yeah, I appreciate that, hearing about the Sierra program. We're somehow, by some calamitous misfortune of everyone, IT and president, I enact that thing day one.
Yeah, fuck, wouldn't that be awesome? Imagine the profound impact it would have right away.
On everything.
Everything. Yes.
By the way, I'd have male and female divisions.
Sure.
And others, but I wouldn't have people transitioning to take the girls' trophies from them.
You would have male, female, and then other categories, but not allow males to take the women's category.
Yeah. Yep.
Fair enough.
I'd probably have a drugged category too.
Oh, I like that. I don't the link I sent you. Oh, okay. So if you click that link, you'll see comments. So I'm going to read to you a comment that popped up. And when people pay me money, I'm kind of like a whore. That means that I kind of have to read the comment, right? That's
I get that, buddy.
the societal contract. And so this guy, Matt Burns, not that there's anything wrong with this comment, but I just, that's how I choose a lot of them. Matt Burns, it's a picture of him in a CrossFit gym. And he says, Greg, thank you for introducing CrossFit to the world and changing my life. Would you be willing to share your experience with polio? I love both you guys. Thanks, Matt.
You know, I got that at 10 weeks old. And they weren't vaccinating until you were 12 weeks. So I got sick. Everyone thought I had some flu-like thing. And then I got vaccinated. And at a year old, I was kind of one-legged in a walker.
At 1 year old?
Yeah. And revisit the pediatrician. Oh, fuck, this kid had polio. And, so it wasn't discovered until after the fact.
And what year were you born?
But, 56.
Okay.
And the orthopedic surgeon, my orthopedic surgeon, Francis McKeever, is a legend. Anyone that knows the history of orthopedic surgery knows who that is. He was a pioneer of the first order. In fact, just to give you a sense of him, when Howard Hughes crashed his plane into Beverly Hills, he had hundreds of fractures, I think is the story, and Francis McKeever was his physician. But he had a practice built around post-polio patients, and I was his youngest patient. And so I would go see him, and there'd be all these ancient people sitting there. I know his daughter practices orthopedic surgery. Someone put us in touch years ago. It was interesting. But I remember when she was off at Oxford studying, when I was a kid and she was a kid. I was quite a bit younger, so she would be very likely long retired at this point as well. He'd be 100 if he were alive.
Do you remember when you found out you had like polio? Like I didn't know my nose was big till I was 16, right? I was at school and someone made fun of it. Then I went home and looked in the mirror. So if you had, when I say polio, it's basically it just affected your leg, one of your legs, right?
Yeah. I had kids mocking me and picking on me, and I even had fucking school teachers mock me, elementary school teachers.
What did that look
teacher, teacher walking away from the class and walking alongside me and limping like I do and getting a huge fucking laugh out of the whole school. I'm in the second grade. She's a fifth grade teacher. I later ended up with her as my fifth grade teacher.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it seemed off at the time.
And did someone explain to you as a child, hey, these are symptoms of polio?
Yeah. We had a family full of physicians. And so, there was not much mystery around it.
And was there any threat of you dying?
No, but it wasn't discovered until the infection was long gone.
Wow. Fascinating.
And kind of like you put the car in the garage and your cats run over. You see the next morning, you know what happened, right?
Someone wrote, is this Uncle Greg's voice?
This is a $20 story, by the way, everyone, not a $5.
So this person only gave $2 and they said, is this Uncle Greg's voice I'm hearing? Yeah, if you can call him Uncle Greg. It's fine. Hey, how did your I guess your parents?
Two things. As long as we're on the story, two takeaways from this.
Please.
Two things that motivated. One was fighting. I got picked on, and my dad, I got martial arts training. He taught me how to tap someone on the shoulder and when turn around and hit him hard enough that there was no fight. And God, what a skill that was. And the other thing was gymnastics.
Explain. Can you give me what do you mean fighting? Basically,
people
picked on you.
I'm walking home from school. With little Linda Dambra next door. She, I'm 8 years old. I think she's my girlfriend. And we're walking home. Next thing I know, I'm on my hands and knees, and I'm looking, and I'm seeing this pool of blood widening. And some kid from across the street, he threw a rock. It was a chunk of cement, and it hit me in the head. Just knocked the shit out of me. So I went to the hospital and got my head shaved and some stitches. and bandage on it. My dad wasn't saying much, and we got home, and after dinner, he's cleared the table, and he's come here. And he gets on his knees, and he says, me on the shoulder. When I turn around, you're going to hit me in the face as hard as you can. My first attempt at this, I tucked my thumb into my hand. We corrected that. And we straightened my wrist, and it was just like throwing a ball. I could throw a ball like a wizard. And just learn, step into it, do it again. My mom's crying. She sees where this is going. I don't quite get it, but then I'm like, oh fuck, because I'm a second or third grader, and this kid's a big fifth or sixth grader. And he tells me that I'm going to go out at recess the next day, and whatever he's doing, you're going to go behind me and tap on the shoulder, and you're going to plant one of those things right on his fucking nose.
And just so people know, really quick,
no, I'm not. And he's, oh yeah, you are. And like it was, I was either going to do this, or he was going to whatever punishment I would get.
And your dad was a huge guy, right?
For me, dude, I'm a small second grader. He's a big fifth grader.
No, okay? I'm saying your dad. Your dad was also huge. Oh, you have this huge
my dad
man.
Is big.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad, he's 6'1", 200 pounds,
Navy guy, flew helicopters in the Navy. Big man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Okay. He, some of the things he liked helicopters and he liked boxing.
Right.
And he wouldn't hesitate to fight. But
and when are you crying when he tells you this? When he tells you you're gonna have to fight this kid?
Yeah, I don't want to do it bad. I don't want to do it bad. I don't want to
do that either.
But I feared him more than the kid that hit me with the rock. The only really interaction I had with him, I didn't even know what happened. It didn't hurt that bad. I lost my senses. I didn't know where I was or what was happening for about 20 seconds. I mean, I took it. It was a good gouge. It was a wonderfully thrown chunk of rock, bigger than a softball.
I wonder if that kid was scared when he saw what he did to you.
I had no sense of that.
Right.
I tell you this: after I hit him, he was scared for years.
So what happened? Your dad taught you how to fight that night?
The little Liv that comes over in the morning, we're going to walk to school. I got my head bandaged, and I tell her what I have to do, and she's crying. And she's telling me, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And I'm like, I've got to. And for this, I was nervous. And we're out of PE where we were on the rubber mats in the little kids section, and he's playing foursquare with the big kids. And I went up there and reached up, tapped him on the shoulder. He turned around and he little jumped to it, crack. It was a solid hit. And he stiffened up and fell back and hit his head on the ground and cried.
Oh, shit.
He fucking stiffened up, fell back, hit his head on the ground and cried. I don't think anyone had ever done that to him before. And I tell you what, that changed everything for me at the school. Everything. It turned out in hindsight, it was the best advice a father could ever give a son that was being picked on.
Meaning everyone, instant reputation, the full.
Oh, there wasn't anybody that didn't either see or hear it.
Dale King writes in the comments, this is a pretty good observation. Those who have been bullied make the best protectors.
Yeah, I could understand that. I certainly have. I mean,
I would say it's almost a fault of yours. You could not like someone and then see them get bullied, and I've seen you go over and protect them.
Yeah, I don't like the dog pile,
Yeah.
Deserved or not. The guy's had enough. Leave him alone.
Right.
Strikes a nerve. But, it's things like Bob Lee asking people to help me bleeding and no one, roll down your window 3 inches and drive off. Unfathomable to me.
Someone named Eric Wise is quoting you here. He loves your juxtaposition of words. Wonderfully thrown chunk of cement.
It was across the street. I mean, it's a good arm. That was a big piece of cement to throw in. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish, but it did something.
What happened? Did you get in trouble for that?
No. And I had, it's funny. The lesson I had to do that again in the 10th grade. New to high school, and not everyone knew the reputation. The kid's name was Mark Reese, and I was in Tom Krubau's locker getting something for him. These names we know, and And this kid, Ben, thought I had been in his locker, and he just cracked me. I didn't see it coming. So I knew what to do. I didn't even need to consult with the old man. I went into his history class, just walked in the back door, tapped him on the shoulder and hit him. And it knocked him out of the chair. Now, this, I'm in the 10th grade. This is a kid with 60 pull-ups at this point, right?
Oh, so you're a savage. You're dangerous.
Yeah, and he's a basketball player. So he's 6 foot something, and I'm 5'5" or 5'6". I weigh 145 pounds. But I had by this time I've got a 300-pound lat pull down, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And this was pre-jiu-jitsu, and being able to do 60 pull-ups had an enormous implication for wrestling and just playing around. But anyways, I cracked this kid, and he fell over in his chair, and we end up in the principal's office, and they call my dad in, and my dad was at the time he was just about to leave home for some Navy gig, and he's got the whole officer and a gentleman, the white shit on, right?
Yeah.
And it was a good look on him. And he comes in, and the principal's explaining that 2 rights don't make a wrong. And my dad says, "What the fuck is that? Do you really believe that shit?" And it's like, whoa. He wasn't going to do anything. Heard what happened, and hey, that's how life goes. That's what happens when you hit someone undeservedly. It might just come back at you. We actually, Mark Reese and I became friends after that.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Like a respect for each other.
He knew the lay of the land, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you don't have to be trained in martial arts to do that. You tap someone on the shoulder and you crack them, and they're not going to jump up with some kind of superhero skills and come at you. You're done. The fight's over.
Right.
This is what Andy used to do to people in bars until I found out about it, hanging out with his Reebok friends.
Right.
Dude, when I found out about that, I don't think in the history of running that company, I don't think anything ever made me more mad.
That he punched someone out at a bar?
It was middle-aged fucking fat dude, balding, fucking minding his own business.
Right.
Just to impress the Reebok guys.
Yeah, that was a pretty nasty story. That there was a lot of alcohol involved.
You remember that, right?
Yeah. That was.
I think I made it clear. I don't think there's anyone that worked for the company that didn't know how I felt about that.
Was that in San Francisco?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I didn't witness it, but I remember hearing the stories. That was he was like supposedly protecting Matt O'Toole or something.
Oh, dude. And it happened at an ATM, and yeah, it was just thuggery.
He's lucky he didn't go to jail.
I keep thinking that demise seems inevitable of some sort. Where I no surprise here.
Someone wrote in summation, this story is Greg doesn't get along with bullies, and if you're not nice, you probably won't like Greg.
I think of myself as nice. Hey, I was with Jeff Martone traveling once, and we were at Cracker Barrel eating breakfast, and he did his regular saying of the blessing before eating. He looked up at me, and I got a mouthful of food, right? I'm just tripping on him. And he says to me, "You know why God makes the strong?" And I said, "I have no idea, but I'm about to find out. What up?" And he goes, "To protect the weak." I tell you, that was one of those things. I heard that, and first of all, I knew I'd never forget it. It moved me deeply, and I thought, man, that's the shit that heroes are made of. To think that you were put on earth to protect weak people, that this is where your strength comes from. And we got another one of those in Jimmy Watt.
Right.
These guys were born to protect the weak. And if we ever leave that, we lose everything.
Greg, going back, you were saying from I think it was from the polio, 2 things happened: fighting, and what was the other one? Do you remember? Gymnastics. Explain that.
Yeah. Well, let me talk about the era.
Okay.
In the I think it happened in the late 40s, maybe the 50s. I think that the story is that someone can research this and find it. It's a fantastic story. It's covered in the LA Times, I believe, in the sports section. But one of the school board members, or maybe the president of the LA Unified School District, was an ex-gymnast. And every boys and girls, every high school in LA had a boys and a girls gymnastics team by decree. But every park had a sand pit. It had shitty rings, shitty high bars, shitty parallel bars, made of stainless steel. It was pretty foreign to the real deal. But it was certainly a good place to learn how to land, dismount, and this was where you could swing on the rings. And it was a better swinging ring setup than it was for still. The parallel bars were just, they worked. It was okay, but everyone was down there, and we would get chalk. Back then, the only person that sold chalk that any of us knew anything about was Frank Endo. And we'd go down to San Pedro to his shop and get chalk. It'd be a big deal to take your mom down there and get grips and chalk. And it was a long drive,
legit gymnastics chalk?
Yeah, gymnastics chalk and legit grips.
Okay.
And you keep your grips with you, and the chalk you'd hide in the sand, bury it somewhere. And I'd go down. It was cool. I was talking about this the other day, that you could wake up on a Saturday morning at 5 a.m., take the German Shepherd, right? Mm-hmm. Ride my bike and do shit on the ring. So by the time I was in middle school, I had a reasonable flyaway dismount on the swing and could stick it, even though it was mostly one-legged. But I got strong, really strong, and had pull-ups and front lever, back lever. Cross came later, but I was good to go. The first time I got on a real pair of rings in the 9th grade, going over to the high school, there was shit I could do, and then it just blew up from there.
And Krubal would go with you there too, right?
Yeah, he's got some stories to tell that I'll let him tell.
And would Kathy go too? Would your sister go with you?
She also has a story to tell. Yeah. Some of my friends got hurt, and my poor sister. Not bad, but knocked out cold.
Screwing around on the rings.
And that's a rare gymnastics injury. You don't see a lot of people completely unconscious.
And so, Greg, so your freshman year was your first year doing organized gymnastics, freshman year in high school?
Yes.
And were you tripping when what made you think you could do it? Were you intimidated or scared or?
No, not at all. Not at all. And some of the kids that I'd seen at the parks were there. Now, here's the thing. Here was a huge motivation. There's a neighborhood kid, Steve Hugg, who was still the youngest American Olympic athlete. Weeks after his 16th birthday, he's on the U.S. team and leading it. And so in '72, he's back. And he was he's just a neighborhood guy, but he was a Chatsworth High guy. And so my high school had produced America's best gymnast. As a high school student, he was the best in the country, better than all the college kids. And there's also a fantastic article on Mr. Hugg. And this is microfiche shit. It's kind of hard to dig up.
I found a wiki page on him, dude, just now.
Yeah, he's the real deal. We had him at the games.
That's the guy?
I looked him up, made friends. We've written on him. You remember the one year I didn't invite him, he broke into the games. The fucker showed up. He got past security into the event. It's like some ninja stuff. You remember Steve?
I do. I was going to tell a story about him. I don't know how appropriate it is now that we've outed him, but I'll just say this: that
he was working through some stuff. Let's leave him alone. It
was going to be about you. You've been very generous to people. There's many people, and I was fortunate enough to be with Greg by his side night and day for more than 10 years. And I saw many people from his past that Greg would dig up and rekindle relationships, whether they had been good or bad. And you were so generous to those people. I'll just say that. Exceedingly generous.
Steve was an enormous inspiration to me. There was kind of a sense of like, it seemed like it was magic because I was on the high school team and I made the team in the 10th grade, which was a very unusual circumstance. But listen, I was obsessed is an understatement. It was.
You mean with him and his accomplishments?
With the fact that our team had been city champions and that we had produced an Olympian, a talent that in 1968 from high school was better than the college kids. So, in fact, there's a black and white video, a black and white film, Super 8 of Hug on YouTube. That is just stunning. A pommel horse too, but he was, and here's the trippy thing about Hug. He was like 26th in the world, and so for your non-gymnastics average American, it meant he wasn't shit, right?
Right.
Which is really sad because 26th in the world is fucking awesome,
right?
And to consider the level of there was this hotbed in Iowa around Hinsdale Central High School in Illinois, in the Chicago suburbs, and Venice High and LA High. LA was a hotbed for gymnastics, and that same tradition of which Hug was kind of launched things. Out of that same tradition, 20 years later, not even that, man. 15 years later, the Americans are the best gymnasts in the world, and the pedigree, the cultural pedigree that comes out of the LA area and UCLA, that's all part of that. And Steve was essential to all of that. But for me to be on the and with Coach David Ogawa, I mean, so my coach, and it was funny thing, he's the geometry teacher. He didn't know shit about gymnastics. That's how strong the culture was. But you know what? He was of a Japanese descent, Coach Ogawa, and that carried huge sway. It scared our competitors. They even got a Japanese coach. How the fuck can we compete with that, right?
Right.
But he was a great coach. He was a great mentor. His gymnastics knowledge was good enough to keep us all inspired. But we had kids coming from UCLA and USC on the reg that had gone to Chatsworth High, so it was easy to get better coaching.
He was he was 16. Wow, just like you said, God, crazy.
Oh, dude, he was so good. Good.
He made the Olympic team at 16, making him the youngest person to represent the U.S. gymnastics team at that event. And he was 4 years older than you. It says he's born in 52.
Yeah. Yep. And there was a certain sense that Steve can do it. We can all do it.
Right.
Which is, I had a sports psychology class once where this lady was outlining the essential aspects of the goals, and one of them is to be realistic or achievable. And I'm like, excuse me, bullshit. And I said, there's 5 million girls with posters of Mary Lou Retton above their bed, and 2 of them have the potential to be that. Who cares? It's the motivational value of the goal. So if someone comes to me at 80 years old, I want to go to the Olympics. I go, we got to get started, man. You get a lot of work to do. I mean, I'm there to feed your dreams and support them. And if there's motivational value in it, I'm not going to shit on that. And because, the getting there isn't important.
Yeah.
Even my thing is, I'm a process guy, not an endpoint guy.
Yeah.
And endpoints that seem impossible become achievable often by, what was solid for me was the process, not where it can take you.
Listen to this. This is in the wiki. This is the last line of the wiki on Steve Hug. Listen to this. Hug is a 1995 inductee into the U.S. Gymnastics Hall of Fame. CrossFit's Greg Glassman has credited him for providing him with inspiration while he was growing up. You know what's funny? Everything is a hot link in wiki. CrossFit, all-around team, Summer Olympics, blah, everything except your name. Not Greg Glassman. They don't.
I'm okay with that.
I know you are, and I know why they don't hot link your name either, because you're a low carb guy. You're a bad dude.
Yeah.
I know why. God, you've ruined me, Greg. Mark Higgins.
Yeah, it's like I'm looking at a book that by description, and I'm looking for it, and it's out of print, of course. Most of what I look for is, but it's extremely expensive. Given that it's nothing, I figure out it must be valuable. It's probably good.
Right.
There's old books you can't get your hands on, and they're often outstanding. And it's the outstanding quality that makes them hard to find and therefore rare and expensive. It's an interesting thing.
Two people like me and you who hang around each other as much as we have, we kind of know everything that's going to come out of each other's mouths. We've heard it all from each other. We know how we're going to behave when we see a pretty woman, a cute dog, a fight in the street, right? We know each other. And yet there's still constantly new stuff coming out of you, historical stuff too. It was like what you said the other day that you heard from your dad even. And I always think that I've heard all your dad's stories. And you said when the TV would come on.
Politics?
Pardon me?
The politics one I was sharing with you?
No, the 4 out of 5 dentists. Like, hey, your dad would stop, but turn off the TV or stand in front of the TV and be like, hey, we don't care about those 4. What did the 5th guy say?
It was 9 out of 10 dentists recommend toothpaste, recommend Sensodyne.
And I'm like, I heard that you say that for the first time like a month ago. I'm like, holy shit. That's so poignant.
Like even my friends knew, like, oh shit, here comes a commercial, and Dad, stand up, walk across the room, turn the TV down, free remote control, right? This is a black and white thing with rabbit ears,
right?
And there's no voting in science, and all my friends could mock him. We all fucking knew, but he told it every time as though we'd never heard it,
right?
And it only lasted like 14 years, right? I mean, yep, there's no voting in science, Dad. Gotcha. God, I thought he needed a new shtick, you know?
Oh, man.
We were laughing. My dad told me he was an engineer, and I thought he conducted trains. You know, like the guy with the cap on the train that waves?
Yeah, yeah.
And then he told me he's a scientist. I get you're an engineer, and I know it, you know? I'm 10 years old. I'm like, you're a scientist.
Hey, do you think
scientists wear lab coats and mix shit in test tubes?
Do you think he presented the information poorly? I'm going to give you an example. There was this girl when I was young. I was 18 years old and she was 23, and I met her in Mexico. And we kept a relationship going for like 6 months, and then she dumped me. She was engaged when I met her. And I told my dad that I was in love with her, and he's like, "You're not in love with her. You're just really, really are enjoying the sex." And that really fucking pissed me off that he said that to me. Like that really pissed me off. And
was he right?
Yeah, well, yeah, but I didn't realize he was right until I'm 51. Yeah. Couldn't he have presented it a little different? You know what I mean? Couldn't your dad have presented it a little different, like that 4 out of 5 dentist thing, so that you could have got it, or no?
You know, listen, and maybe his pedagogy wasn't ideal or you know, maximally effective. But I tell you what. I did everything in my power to avoid his influence. Everything.
Okay.
That's why I was a trainer in a gym. It was a part of this thing. From I mean, he was not impressed with me being a trainer in a gym.
Right.
But I came from a family. If you weren't a physician, engineer, lawyer, accountant, if you didn't get the college degree and get one of those jobs you get from college, your life was a waste. But, he was the first person in his family to go to college. And that was true of so many of my friends. I can't tell you the number of friends I had I grew up in the San Fernando Valley, and you couldn't live in the San Fernando Valley and be paying attention, nor have friends and not know about Grumman, Lockheed, Northrop, Teledyne, Teradyne, Hughes, Raymond Woolridge, Lytton, Atomics International. Those are where my friends' dads were. And they all had the white short sleeve dress shirts and the horn rimmed glasses. Most of them served in the military. Most of them were the descendants of farmers or factory workers. And I mentioned they had mill experience, and they worked in aerospace, and they thought they were keeping the world safe from democracy. That's probably all true. But that upbringing, I rejected it wholly. And I got to tell you, all you people doing CrossFit, you can blame my old man. The lessons I did everything I could to avoid stuck with me. And I know there's no voting in science. If you're voting, it's not science. I got a quote here from Michael Crichton that I'm going to share. It's a gig I'm doing at the ranch.
Crichton's the prolific
Andromeda Strain, Jurassic Park. Okay. I believe he was a physician, and this is at a commencement address at Caltech of all places, if I have my history right.
Crichton was a physician, or is?
Yeah, I think he was.
Is he still alive?
I think so. No, that I know. That I'm certain of. I can find this here.
It's interesting that you're. I would like to also know what your dad eventually ended up thinking of you becoming. You were a grown man in your 40s, couldn't rub two nickels together, rode your bike to work every morning at 5 a.m. Teaching people CrossFit. You know, the highlights in your life would be when you would get a contract with like a police department or something. Was he tripping at that point? Like,
at the point that I needed technical support, argumentation, science explained, like the thing he did for us in 2009.
Yeah.
He was indispensable. But he went through a transition, and he would tell people proudly that the greatest surprise in his adult life is that he's famous for being my father.
Oh, that's awesome. God, that would make
that was kind of,
that's a win
he liked
for you,
to
right?
tell that.
Oh,
he liked to tell. Cool. Here's Michael Crichton. He says, I want to pause here and talk about this notion of consensus and the rise of what has been called consensus science. I regard consensus science as an extremely pernicious development that ought to be stopped cold in its tracks. Historically, the claim of consensus has been the first refuge of scoundrels. It is a way to avoid debate by claiming that the matter is already settled. Whenever you hear the consensus of scientists agrees on something or other, reach for your wallet because you're being had. How do you like that?
Yeah. Yeah. He's a Harvard grad. Yeah. Smart dude.
Was he a physician?
Well, it says Crichton at Harvard in 2002. Crichton received an MD from Harvard Medical School in 1969, but did not practice medicine, choosing to focus on his reading instead. And like you said, the Andromeda Strain, Jurassic Park.
Right.
Wow. He died young. 70. Not even 58 plus 8. He died young, 64. Sold 200 million books, dude. Holy shit. Wow. Greg, you sold CrossFit in was it 2020?
Yeah.
And since then, I would say you've been pretty quiet, wouldn't you say? You haven't, besides these showing up for the BSI events and popping up on this podcast now and again, you've been pretty quiet.
Yeah, I'm not in the public eye. I'm not in the spotlight. 60 Minutes isn't coming around, but I can tell you that part wasn't fun. There was a sense of obligation to it.
You mean being in the public eye?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you're kind of doing it.
To have people come up that you've never met and to tell you how much they owe you and love you and respect you. That's a humbling thing. It's a tough thing. And I wouldn't want to give anyone the sense that you don't like it, but to say that you enjoy it, I think anyone that enjoys that is pathological. There's something wrong with you. And but it's humbling, and and I tell people, and I do, I'm grateful when people say hi. I really am. But to want that, it would be an odd thing to me.
What do you mean humbling? Don't you mean the opposite of humbling? Like it makes you proud on people?
No, it's like, no, not for me. Because I struggle to explain that, like, you are the manifestation of my life's work. And without these people, there's nothing, right?
Right.
All these fucking people with these fitness programs no one's doing. It's good on you, right?
Right.
You're a legend in your own mind. That's the proof of the success of the effort. That's how the thing that this thing self-replicated spoke volumes to me. Look, we can take someone. We were taking people that had a love of exercise in the gym and gym life, and you teach them a set of skills. Dusty Gaver, Navy SEAL, I mean, every time I see a trainer to the stars, there's only one, and it's Duffy Gaber. This guy, he gave me a shirt that had the list of the movies where he had trained the leading man. Holy cow! I mean, it's unbelievable. It's 100 movies everyone's heard of, but Duffy is the guy. And he came to that very first seminar that I had for the public. I'd done some for DOJ and one for National Police Corps for 2 federal programs.
What year was that?
I don't know.
Okay.
We got footage of it. You can look it up. But it's interesting who was there. Duffy was there, and Mark Twight was there. And there's a photo somewhere. I think it had been on .com showing the board, the whiteboard with all the scores of whatever the hell the workout was. And Duffy, the Navy SEAL, trainer to the stars. And I tell you, he's coming to this thing at June 3rd at the ranch.
He is? Duffy Gaber?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Gaber is, yeah. I can't tell you the respect I have for this kid. You know, one of the smartest things we did was the requiring of the essay for affiliation. Uh-huh. And the problem is we had a form. We asked questions because we thought we were so fucking smart and would know what questions to ask. And the people go, like, I didn't pass your test, and how come I can't be in, you know? And then I'd hear the story, and I go, wow, my system fucked up. This guy, yeah, you're in. I don't know how this happened. And we could never ask the right questions. And so we had people writing an essay, and it was tell us why you want to be an affiliate. And this is how it works. You get points for wanting to help people is positive. Your life experience in athleticism and training was a 0, and your desire to make money or marketing or business acumen was a negative. Okay, and so the essay that I got an MBA and 3 gold medals, you're out. And you could say, I've always loved working out, and I just want to see this impact on other people. You're in. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, all the essays were either the negative and 0 or the 0 and a plus, all of them, and not one of 15,000 fucking essays. Not one person says, I got an MBA and I just want to help people.
Right.
Not one.
Right.
Here was my least favorite ever. Was I live across the street from Fort Bragg. I could make a killing off these guys. Yeah, I was like, I don't think so. Not flying my flag. Now, Duffy Gaber's essay. He says, I went to that first cert, and it changed everything about the way I train people. And I got people asking me, isn't this CrossFit? And I fumble with it, you know. All right. And he says, I think I got an integrity problem here. I need to affiliate, and I owe you some back pay. Like, holy cow! I mean, there's the one exception to the rule. You're in,
right?
But I was so moved by that, the integrity, to realize that, you know, I'm using this methodology fairly much unadulterated, and haven't been paying my share, and I got clients. You know, and these are movie stars asking me, "Isn't this CrossFit?" And I have trouble answering. Pretty cool.
This is Duffy Gaber. Is he he's into motorcycles too? Pretty big.
Oh, dude, let me send you a picture he sent me yesterday.
Okay, I'm on his Instagram, and I'm just making sure and he wrote a book called Hero Maker.
I'm sure.
Okay, well, I can't wait to meet him.
Good looking kid too. I mean,
yeah. How old is he? 50, 60? He does. I'd say
he's in his early 50s would be the guess.
Yeah, he's jacked. No magic pill, will, desire, or discipline. Or no magic pill. It's all about will, desire, and discipline. Get up before work, crush your workouts, eat well, be consistent. He was making fun of people who take turmeric. Now I see why you guys like each other. I got a question here from someone. Mark Higgins. Sevi, my wife has just been diagnosed with stage 3 bowel cancer. I'm going the whole Chris Beat Cancer route. Does Greg have any advice? Chris Beat Cancer, Greg, is a guy I had on the show who had stage 4 colon cancer at 20 some odd years old, right? And he went the route of just stop eating all things processed and stop eating all animal products, right? He went complete fucking he's a vegetable guy, basically just eats vegetables. And he's done that for like 20 years, and he looks fabulous. And what's interesting, the guy is a CrossFitter. But when I had him on the show, one thing he did say, Greg, is when I wanted to talk about diet, he said, "Hey, you know what I'd really like to talk about is reducing people's stress in life as being a serious cure for cancer." Yeah, this picture you sent me is incredible. I saw this on his Instagram with Guffey.
Yeah, now let me share with
Duffy
you. He sent that to me yesterday, and the caption was "today."
Oh,
so that's
wow.
Duffy yesterday on his motorcycle.
Okay, that's savage. Okay. Yeah, that's
he's the real deal.
That's
if it's like there's my Marvel comic kind of guy, right?
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to send one more picture. I'm going to send a picture of his bike because I should probably give him my CBR 1000, my SP2.
Oh, that would be a crazy gift to give him. Any advice for this guy? Greg, do you have any advice for me while my wife has stage 3 bowel cancer?
Yeah, I'd like him to be introduced to Emily so they could have an offline talk.
Okay.
I'm not going to promote cancer therapies here or tell anyone's story, but our proximity to Seafried, that's all I really want to say. Here's what I think. I think cancer is a metabolic disease and not a genetic disease. I believe that the genetic is the downstream consequences of the damage of the mitochondria, and I think that science is solid as can be. And so, cancer is a metabolic disease, and I think that Travis Christofferson, his treatment of Seafried's work in Tripping Over the Truth. Seafried's book is Cancer is a Metabolic Disease. It's a tough read, but well worth it. And Christofferson's treatment of that is very good. And there's some lineage here. Christofferson says he was turned on to this concept by Rob Wolf in the forward. And I'd share when I met Rob, he was all carbs all the time, Rob. So I'm supportive, very supportive of this research and work, and there are some treatments that have come down the pipe that certainly bear looking at.
And Mark, if you need to get in touch with Emily, you can. She has an Instagram account. Hold on. I will tell you what it is.
She lives in Boston. Thomas Seafried lives in Boston. We're all friends. I'm friends with Tom Seafried, full disclosure. I've also funded his research. Did it CrossFit. CrossFit has no interest in that kind of thing now, I presume, and I continue to fund Thomas. And that is not we are not throwing money away. We're saving lives.
I'm putting Mark. I'm putting Emily's Instagram account, the lady that Greg suggests you reach out to, in the chat. It's down there at the bottom now.
She's also Emily at brokenscience.org.
Oh, okay. So there's her email.
Partner in the Broken Science effort.
Okay, there you go.
Her husband is Bob Kaplan, and he's the brains behind Piratia. Talk about credentials.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I sent you 2 more pictures of Duffy. I just love that kid.
Yeah, that motorcycle's nuts.
And here, just to show you, he doesn't just take pictures out by himself. Here he is in a race in the lead. These guys miss getting shot at.
He's a mill guy?
He's a SEAL, dude.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
Yeah.
So instead of getting shot at now he does 200 miles an hour on a motorcycle taking deep turns.
Right, dragging a knee, yeah.
Mike Artunian, who was at the BSI event in Phoenix, says, I hate to jump off and stop watching the show, but I'll have to catch the rest of this after work. I'm looking forward to June 3rd in California.
Oh, that's sweet. I'm excited about it too. And, it's not to plug it. There's no plugging that can be done, and there's no room for anyone else. And that happens within a matter of hours. And it's grateful to my affiliate community to have the interest in this. I spoke at Hillsdale College, and any CrossFitters out there, and it was like a third of the audience was 500 or 600 people affiliates, the people who had gotten on planes and trains and automobiles to come and listen. And at the end, the enthusiasm from the science faculty was muted, let's say, and the best questions were asked by affiliates. But we've always, within our community, had extraordinary resources. I mean, we've got guys on the level and training team that have published scores of articles in peer-reviewed journals, whatever that means, on technical subjects. So we have within our community just about every trade and expertise imaginable. Russ Green had said that when he got to DC, that every morning at 4, 5 a.m., everyone with their hands on the levers of power is involved, Democrat and Republican, is at the CrossFit gyms, one of the 23 gyms. And so we had a program, a community that is very attractive to overachievers.
Do you think if you're an affiliate owner and you were your reaction to the pandemic was a reflection on how well you understood the material?
Yeah, how could I not think that? I mean, I go into a gym in Phoenix and they've got 2 layers of plexiglass a half-inch thick. It looks like my bank in San Diego that's right near the on-ramp.
Hey, how many times has that bank been robbed? What a great place to put a bank, huh? Right near the on-ramp.
Dude. I mean, you go in looking for robbers. You don't want to get caught up in anything.
Right.
Yeah, you remember that place right there on Del Mar Boulevard, or whatever the hell that was? Remember that?
Yes. Yeah, and I remember our conversations dying laughing about some of our conversations. I just tripped that maybe, especially after you put out 5 buckets of death and then you were an affiliate owner, I always wondered how you reconciled. I mean, I guess there were millions of doctors who were duped, and school teachers and mathematicians.
You know what someone's eyes look like when they're fucking terrified? You know that look?
Whose eyes?
Terrified eyes.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Google it if you need to. Look at someone's eyes when they're terrified.
Yeah, okay.
That's what you see behind the mask. It's nothing. There's nothing rational about it. There never was.
Let me ask you this: do you ever have concern? Are you familiar with this term, psyops, like a psychological operation?
Yeah.
Do you ever think about all the people like that there were friends and family and loved ones of ours have just gone through a crazy traumatic experience the last 3 years because they were? I mean, do you think it's a gross exaggeration to say that they were, or even spot on accurate that they were part of a psyop?
Yeah, I'm waiting for someone to even come up as simply and go, do you know how embarrassed I am?
You're just waiting for one person to say that. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, just one. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they can because they're so Do you ever think do you remember that movie Clockwork Orange? That was a psyop, right? Where they hold the guys open with the toothpicks and make them watch.
Yeah.
Except they didn't have to force people to watch it.
Look, I thought when Trump talked about deep state, I thought he was out of his fucking mind. I wasn't. And
right.
He proved it. It's been proven. I mean, what do you think these 51 signatures to the laptop was Russian disinformation, And so deep state's real. But what caught me by surprise later, because I came to see, long before the Burnham report or whatever just got released, it was very clear that law enforcement intelligence had tried to did their best to alter the outcome of election, and then on this shithead getting elected, they did everything they could to remove him from power by illegal means, lying to a FISA judge, for instance. And so the deep state thing, CNN can pretend all day long like that didn't happen, and that's why no one's watching anymore. But what came as a surprise was the deep health, the idea that public health would be harnessed. And I already knew the CDC was compromised. Remember, we sued them successfully at CrossFit. And I knew that the fix was in on nutrition, but I never thought that they would promote a virus. Promote a virus. I mean, the gain of function, Obama chased it out of this country and it ended up at Wuhan, a la Fauci and friends, and Eco Health Alliance. And these same assholes are involved in the vaccine. And what we've all went through seems some kind of combination of panic and an engineered effort. But look at the freedoms we've lost. Look at what a vehicle for control this has been.
I had
it's
this
really amazing.
I had
once I get the mask on you and you're not allowed to go to work or school, you're basically your pants are down and you're fucking handcuffed. Your wrists are handcuffed to your ankles. That's where you're at. And what comes next, God only knows. It's basically whatever they want, including destroying the economy.
I had an acquaintance, I would even say a friend. I went to their house a couple times, who was a executive over at Adobe, very senior person at Adobe, and they were a pretty staunch liberal. And about 6 months into it, they pulled me aside, and I use they because I don't want to reveal their sex. They said to me, "Hey," and I go, "What?" And they go, "You're right." And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "This thing," or she, is a perfect product launch. I go, "Really?" They said, "Hey, dude, it's textbook. This is exactly how you launch a product." The whole thing. I was like, "Holy shit!" They're like, "Dude, it's playbook. Like all of us in the biz know it." I was like, "Oh my
god." What's the name of Dowd's book?
I have it right here. Cause Unknown.
Oh my god! And read the introduction to that. Look up Dowd. Look where he comes from. Think of the essential nature of him being rational to have led BlackRock like he did, pre woke era for that company.
Right.
But look at what he achieved in the financial world and the breadth of talents and skills he had to have to be one of the like a rock star Hall of Fame stock picker guy. He accomplished things that Warren Buffett could only dream of. And to walk away as a young man with an untold amounts of money to circle back around and present the case to this whole thing being the nonsense that it it's really a remarkable work. And there's few things as compelling as the CEO of America's largest life insurer saying that once they filter out COVID deaths, they've got a 40% increase in all-cause mortality. And they know exactly what it's from. Exactly.
Do you feel bad for those people at all? Those people who are part of the PSYOP?
I feel bad for all of us.
Right.
I mean,
they don't even know though, right? They're completely. I mean, at least we're happy. I mean, they don't even. They got damaged. They actually were performed. They had some fucked up thing performed on their brain. At least we have each other.
Yeah. If you want an argument, you're gonna have to find another subject.
Paul Sebastian here in the comments. Sevan, please thank Greg personally for me for everything he has done in the fitness space and health and wellness. I've been doing CrossFit since 2008 and was diagnosed with multiple myeloma in October. What's that? Myeloma? Skin? Something with the skin?
Yeah, it's a cancer. Right.
Thank you, Paul. I hope you get better. I hope you heal up, buddy.
Tell Paul, thank you for the kind words and wish him the best of health.
Paul says, I am now 1 month post-transplant and back doing CrossFit, and I would have never gone through this without, I think he means without CrossFit. Someone else wants to only listen to the parts of the podcast where you're speaking. Thank you, Scott. How far back do I have to go to catch all of Greg? He came on early. Greg came on in the first 10 minutes. If you don't want to hear my shit, start 10 minutes in. Greg, there is so many things I want to ask you about, but we're reaching the end. But I need to have you back on. I want to talk to you about a couple things. The importance of how important you think it is that you pull kids out of school. What if you can't afford to do it? All the excuses people have to not homeschool. And then I also want to talk about your dad passing in the last 2 years, and any advice you have for people. What things you wish you would have done different, what you miss about your dad, what he contributed to your life, stuff like that. So maybe we can, maybe next week sometime we could regroup.
Yeah, great. You talking to me? Tell me that.
Yeah, I'm just telling you that. I think we've run out of time. I want to go. I want to come see. I'm like 90 minutes in, and I want to like put on my shoes and come find you now in person and hang out with you.
That went fast.
Yeah, I don't want to share you with everyone else anymore. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
But I would. Those are all some great things, and I have a lot to say on all of that.
Okay.
But I'm going to answer part of it right now. I mean,
okay.
In the same sense of you need to talk to your kids every day, as if you may not see them again. The same thing with your parents.
Right.
And my dad stood up there in front of us all 6 years ago at the CrossFit Health Conference at the Games, and went on and on and on about p-values. There wasn't a person in the room interested, sadly. And now I'm that guy. And so, we talk about effective communication. What he had to tell us about was probably the most important thing you could talk to anyone about, especially given what we were just talking about. And that is what happened in terms of public health. And it's a science failing is what it is. And anyone gets up there and talks about trust the science. And I learned this from Matt Priggs. What the fuck is the science, right?
Right.
You got a problem right there. The science is settled. And I wish I had tuned into his message sooner, but I was trying to run this company. But now that's become my life's work to continue in that vein. And in closing, I just share with everyone that, I did everything I could to avoid my father's lessons and took refuge in the gym and applied his lessons almost unwittingly and developed the fastest growing chain in world history. I didn't want to have my own gym, much less launch 15,000, but it did happen. And from that vantage point, we saw that medicine was similarly afflicted with the same academic shortcoming, and thrust from the fitness space suddenly in 2020. I was in perfect position to answer the question, what is it that presented the opportunity for me in fitness? That is, what is the nature of the academic shortcomings in the fitness space? What is the nature, cause, etiology? What is it that creates this shortcoming in the health space, in the public health space? And ultimately, like, what has happened in academic science that's created this horrific mess that is the replication crisis. And the replication crisis is real, and that we can't trust studies in psychology and sociology, economics, and gender studies may not come as a surprise to anyone, but to learn that the epistemic debasement of modern science that has so afflicted the social sciences has also caught medicine right between the eyes.
Yeah.
It is also perfectly unreliable. So, I wish I had understood my father's message more clearly. And I'm fortunate that I got out of it what I did, being perfectly 100% resistant to it. I wonder what it would have been like if I had, read his book when he asked me to 1,000 times. So yeah, regret, do it again. There's that kind of shit. Love you. I'll see you today. Let's go to breakfast. Come on over.
Okay, cool.
Thank you everyone for listening to two old friends talk about life.
I'll give you a call in about 10 minutes.
All right, sir.
Okay, bye. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Glassman. Philip Kelly, $5 for breakfast tacos. Thank you. I'm going to get a jalapeno and sausage omelet over at the restaurant. Paul, Sebastian, thank you, Sevan, for keeping Greg's message alive in the space. Here's the thing, Paul, I appreciate that. Here's the thing. I say this with zero fucking humility. He could do this with anyone. I am not sure why. I feel that way about pretty much anyone who comes on the podcast. Whether it be Tyler Watkins, Brian Friend, Dave Castro, Patrick Bet David, but Greg Glassman, he could go anywhere. He could do podcasts every day now till the day he dies. And sure, there's some people like it's fucking crazy that someone like Joe Rogan doesn't have him on. I mean, Greg is fucking so rad. He's made for this medium is made for him. He's easily up there with Jordan Peterson in terms of just quotes and the processor he has, the shit that just would rain from him, the fruit from the Greg Glassman tree would just rain. He just needs the right stimulus, right? So he could go on platforms. I don't know. I'm honored and excited and like so proud, not humbled. I'm so proud that he'll do this for me. So although you're saying thank you, Sevan, for keeping his message alive, I can't believe he comes on here and lets me pick his brain like this. This is cool as shit. And to be honest with you, I didn't know if it was ever going to happen. You know, he told me 1,000 times he'd come on the show, and I'm an easy friend and he's an easy friend. And then one day, finally, I sent him the number and he called in, and here we are. We're now 3 or 4 talks in. So, we're looser. Like when we're together, we're very loose. We're looser than this. But each show, you're getting also a deeper and deeper insight into our friendship, and I think there's some subtleties and nuances that you guys will see start leaking out. But we're not usually. I don't talk to him quite this formally. I have a contact right now that is inside one of the regionals. I'm assuming it's the Northeast. It's not Africa. Oh yeah, it says North America East. And I'm trying to get this person to hit a link or call me. Let me see if I can send the phone number. What is the phone number here? Let me see if he'll call in 928-583-3903. Can you just call? By the way, I did see that Matt Souza did make a schedule. Souza, what's the schedule? And have him put 30. Oh, not you. Not you. I mean, him. I've created a semifinals thread. These are all the people that I want to harvest intel, pictures, video, reporting from during the next 4 or 5 days. And so I've started this thread, and I told one of the guys to call in, but there's like 15 people on the thread. So someone's like, I can't call you. I'm in an airplane. You're not supposed to call. I'm calling in soon. I need to rant about my husband. Oh, no. Oh, here we go. Hey, dude, what's up?
What's up?
Hey, thanks for calling. You are at the Mike Halpin. You are at the North America East Regional. You're inside the venue.
Semifinal, yes.
So what did I say? What did I call it?
Regional.
Yeah, semifinal.
Okay.
I apologize.
Die hard.
Yeah. So what does it start today?
Starts tomorrow. There's volunteer check-in and setup today.
Fantastic. Are there any rules? I'm assuming there's no rules about you calling in and telling us what you see and what you hear, what you smell, and what you feel. But what about video? Are you allowed to stream with us?
I will be working with the broadcast team with Chase and folks. So probably not me, but
right. Okay. Fair enough. And what do you see? Is the place set up? Completely set up? Do you see like the floor set up and?
Yeah, the floor's down. It's looking good in there. I haven't really seen any athletes or anything like that yet, but yeah, the teams are definitely here setting up, and it looks pretty good. It's pretty loud in there. They've been doing mic checks and stuff.
You're not actually in there right now. You're like around the perimeter of the venue.
Yeah.
And registration. Are you seeing a lot of athletes registering?
I think that officially starts tomorrow, but I've seen a couple of coaches and people knowing about. So
Tomorrow's Friday. The registration's got to be today. It's got to be today.
Today's Wednesday.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, fine. Why are you there so early? Don't you have like a day job and shit?
This is how I have fun, I guess. Yes, I do. But here I am. Early flight was the only option.
Should I speak to you with a code name just in case your employer's listening or your wife's listening and they think that you're somewhere else?
No, they're aware of how big of a nerd I am, so it's fine.
Okay. Anything? I'm stoked that you're on the ground. Anything you'd like to share? Anything surprising? But looks like is it more beautiful and robust and fantastic than you thought, or the opposite? Anything like that?
Yeah, there's a good amount of vendors here. It looks like everybody's setting up. The floors are all down, so 20 lanes across is pretty tight, but they'll get it done. So, and
there you go, buddy. That's some good intel. 20 lanes. You heard it here first on the Sevan Podcast.
And then there are the 2 floors here at NA East, and then same will be at West in Europe. So it does look like everything that has been said is true. There's only, I can see a few of the production folks are already setting up cameras and stuff like that. So it is going to be all on the side with the rig on it. So the pull-up rig and all that.
Meaning all the camera stuff is dedicated to one of the floors, and the other floor will be like stuff that
it'll have some community events, and then it's those 3 events that won't be broadcast on Friday and Saturday.
How many events did you say? 3? You mean 2?
3.
3. Oh, I thought it was
total. There's 2 individual events and 1 team event.
Yes. Who gives a fuck about the team event? But I appreciate your accuracy. Oh, a Rogue. Is there a Rogue tent there? Is there a Rogue vendor there? Can I get Rogue shit?
It looks like it. I've seen a lot of it. There's a CrossFit affiliate booth that looks pretty big right as you go in. There's all the new sponsors they've announced are all setting up here. Still early in the day, I think. To be able to tell too much, but yeah, they're here. Assault is here. So
let me ask you this too. This is from our European correspondent Pedro from the Great Coffee Pods and Wads. He has a question for you. Can Mr. Halpin, can you see any of those giant checks so we can find out what the prize is for the event that starts tomorrow? The prize money. Did you see any giant checks or have any insights into the prize money?
I have not seen anything that would tell me one way or the other on that.
Okay.
Let's wait for the podium on Sunday, I guess.
Another great question from our correspondent out in a farm somewhere in Iowa, Logan Mars. Is Jocko Fuel there? That's a good question.
Yes, they are.
Oh, awesome. Well, shit, they didn't mess around.
A lot of Jocko Fuel is sitting right at the front. Yeah.
Do you think, can you reach out and just sample one? Is there a free sample you could taste right now and give us some feedback on?
I'll have to see about that next time I'm on.
Okay.
If I have some.
All right, brother. Well, thank you. That is the first report for the Sevan Podcast here on Wednesday, May 17th for the North America East semifinal. This is awesome. Awesome.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Talk to you soon. All right.
Yep.
Bye-bye. I'm so proud of this show. God damn, I'm proud of this show. Susie, you should be proud of this show too. So should you, Caleb. You guys should be so proud. Oh my goodness, I'm so proud. Oh man. All right, here we go. All right. Halpin is there, Jocko Fuel is there, Rogue is there. It's Wednesday. Okay, there he is, Caleb Beaver. So proud. Yeah, you should be. It's fucking awesome. Oh, someone sent me a DM with some more Beaver names. I wish I could remember them. They were good. Hiller's therapist. We're proud of you, Sevan. Are you allowed to say that as a therapist? Isn't that a little? Sevan, did you try to text Will? I mean, I don't have a text thread that Will's not on in my phone. Even the one with my mom and my wife and Will's on all of them. Yes. Thank you, Yanni. My connections are on fire. Not Harry Beaver. It was something better. All right. Okay, guys. Time to eat. I will. I think that is there a show tonight? Oh yeah, there's a show tonight. With Hunter and Hiller. I think tonight's show is going to be wild. I think there will be some intense steroid talk. The show's supposed to be kind of like a farewell party to pump up Hunter before his High Rocks event, but I suspect this show is going to be wild. Okay, I will see you guys this evening. Bye-bye.